Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the RealNex webinar series, the Leasing Agents Technology Toolkit. Today, I am joined by Matthew Smith, Head of West Coast Sales, and Mike Lerg, CTO of our virtual reality partner Pix for RealNex VR. So we have a lot of ground to cover. We have a great session. We're going to talk today about our powerful CRM and how to target new agencies by tracking market inventory, monitoring building performance, stacking plans, profiling tenants in the market, and managing tenant relationships. We'll go into our Market Edge solution to look at how you can easily create flyers and real campaigns. We will hold on the renderings, video, and VR for the end, but we're going to talk about that from our marketing strategy of how you can take advantage of all of our capabilities to create compelling models for your spaces for the building planning approval process, capital raising, as well as pre-leasing and pre-sales. And we will take you into our marketplace to show how to get listing exposure of your space availabilities. And then once you're engaged in transactions, to run comparative lease analysis and manage your transaction pipeline with our transaction manager application. So Matt, a lot to cover. I'll turn it over to you to go live in the system, and we'll pick up with Mike at the back end of the session.
Fantastic, Jeff. Thank you as always for giving that awesome introduction. We have a lot to tackle. I'm going to try to go as slow yet fast as possible.
Find the balance.
This presentation a little woo-saw going on here, so we can do that. You should see my screen right now. I want to go ahead and launch something real quick just so I have a little bit more understanding of our audience on here today. I put a quick poll. It'll only take about maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Let us know, office, industrial, retail, or other that you're doing for leasing. What are you working on? What's going on right now? What are you specializing in? A lot of office, a lot of retail. Awesome. Retail's back. Office is back. Industrial is doing well too. Everything seems to be starting to pick up. I'm not sure whether it's just my enthusiasm for 2 days off next week or the industry is really picking back up. But it's good to see everybody. 59% people voted. I'm going to close this out in another 22 more seconds. And right now, retail is leading office, and then industrial is third along with other. All right, we are going to close out here in 9, 5, 1, 0. All right, I'm going to share this poll just so everybody can see. Office, industrial, retail, and other. Those are the main categories we have up there. We see retail is leading with office right behind, and then industrial last, but not least with other. Thanks so much. It gives us an idea of what everybody's doing. I want to walk you through different things inside of our program, like tracking market inventory, walking through how stacking plans work in our program, and then how to really manage the tenant relationship in our program. A lot of people talk about CRM, and I see it all the time on social media and everywhere else, and I want everybody to understand we are a system. We are the RealNex ecosystem. We are not a CRM. We put that on there because we would confuse everybody else. We are a true system for commercial real estate. And one of those is going to be really knowing and tracking your market inventory. You can do that a couple ways. One is you can use our mobile app, and you can go out in the field and you can add buildings like I have here in North Las Vegas directly from your mobile app. So if you want to walk a building, you can easily do that. You can use our mapping function by going block by block, zip code by zip code, or use our boundary and polygon maps. So you're really building out those buildings. As you're walking those different buildings, you can go ahead and add the different stack to it or the rent roll, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing, tomatoes, tomatoes. You can also use data from RX Pro. We'll pre-populate that information for you, or you can always import data from third-party sources. Anyone that has data that can be brought in. We're truly relational. So it brings in the property. Not only is it going to bring in the property, but it's also going to bring in the property details. It can bring in the ownership information, and it can bring in the rent roll and all the information for the tenants if you have that information. So it can really help build out that market. That way, as you're tracking the market, you're working the market, you're knowing the market, you're able to answer questions on the market. And as you're talking to different building owners to pitch them on why they should hire you, you can let them know that, hey, I've walked your building, I've seen what's going on, I've seen what's happening, I have a system to match tenants up to the spaces that are available within inside my program. And I use this thing called RealNex, and it's a great system. If you want me to record a video for one of your pitches, I'm happy to do so as well. Now, one of the things that we're going to need to keep track of in the market is we want to keep track of buildings, and we're going to keep track of maybe tenancies and so forth as we're going for those landlord assignments. We also want to keep track of the companies that lease those spaces. And one of the things that we really accelerate in is that's tenant relationship management. Sounds like a lot. How do you do that? Well, one is companies are the ones that are leasing space. Now, companies can have one location, or companies can have 15 locations. And you can see here that I have some that you'll see have similar logos, and you'll see other ones that don't. So a lot of the companies that I deal with are mainly smaller companies, but some of them, like Logistics Express, have locations all across the United States. So Matt, I manage leasing for Logistics Express. How would I manage that? Because they have 35 locations and they have 4 major hubs. Well, we can easily do that in the RealNex program. One is you can see we have color-coded areas down in here to keep track of the relationship and other information. We also have the ability to keep track of the contacts, but not only the contacts at this location in West Virginia, but also the contacts that are located in California, Georgia, and other locations if they would have other locations. We can tag a primary contact. Now, a primary contact can be tagged for each location. So if you have someone that you're dealing with for their leasing needs in West Virginia, like Pat Sajak, you can tie Pat Sajak as a primary contact. But Tim might be the one that you're working with in California. You can tag them as a primary contact for each location. The primary contact can be something or someone else that maybe represents. So maybe Jeff is the tenant broker for Logistics Express. I can tie Jeff in here as a primary contact for Logistics Express, so I can work with Jeff every time I have a need or there's an availability that meets their criteria. So it's a great way to really start to manage that tenant relationship. You can also keep track of all the spaces that they lease across their whole portfolio. And one of the things that we want to do is not only do we want to track market inventory, but we also want to monitor building performance. And some of the things we can do is we can look at a company, we can look at their spaces they lease, we can see who we're managing so we can fill those spaces up. And then of those companies that are in there, as different things come up in the news, as other things appear, we can relate those spaces back to those companies, so then we can always track that building performance. And one of the things that our program does really well is it allows you to create some really awesome marketing collateral. So let's take an example. I'm going through and I'm calling. Maybe I'm calling block by block, or maybe I'm calling by a certain asset class or anything else. I can easily reach out and click to dial. I can call each owner to see if they're interested in selling. I can voice dictate my conversation or my notes after the call and schedule a follow-up for a future date. And if Ken or anybody else that I'm talking to says, yeah, I would love to meet and talk about my needs for leasing. We haven't had anybody represent. We've been doing everything in-house. However, we decided to go to a third party now, and we wanted to see how that works. As I'm talking, it's typing everything out for us. Now, what also I can do is if I want to, and I'll pull up an example here, I now can simply hit Analyze Market. If I have the building information, if I walk the building and I have the rent roll, what I can do is simply hit Analyze Market, and when I hit Go To, it's going to take that information right out and it's going to populate into a quick flyer. Now, in here, it's going to show not only the property photo that I have, it's going to show that it's an industrial building. It brought in the title. It brought in the location. It also brought in the location description that I have. Now, you have many different cover sheets that you can utilize. On the right-hand side, you can change from 1 photo to 3 columns to 1 photo with 3 agents, a cityscape. As you click on each one of them, the information on the right-hand side changes, so you can see what it's going to look like before you apply the changes. You also can show what available spaces are. If I'm going to meet with a client and they have 2 spaces that are available, but there's also 2 tenants that are likely not to renew the rent because maybe market conditions change. Maybe you saw an article on that they're going to be decreasing, or maybe they just filed bankruptcy. You can go ahead and you can change different things like the columns that are in here. You have the ability to show what available spaces are and what size. And as you add those columns, you can put in things like rate, term, use, type, or even commit condition all right in here. And it's going to go ahead and modify the information on the left-hand side. So you don't need to be a graphic artist or anybody super knowledgeable with the technologies to know how to use a mouse and a keyboard. You can also do things like change a map. And if we want to add additional paragraph, we can add some more details on this. We can change it back to a map. And then we can go ahead and we can pull information out. So if we don't want to show available spaces or any of that information, we can always change the summary and go down here and we can talk about bullets. Why they should hire you. Maybe that's something you want to do on the pitch. Here are the last 5 buildings I manage. I manage 50 million square feet or anything else. You can use that, tie in a professional bio, and we even have customized pages in here that allow you to do things like additional photos, additional agent bios, or maybe you have a company bio that you want to put in here for your whole team. You can use our custom pages and create a whole team layout. Using our custom pages, it's really nice because it allows you to move the rows left, right, or you can just drag and drop the widgets in here. And if you look at this select layout side here, you'll see the examples on the right-hand side of the different things you can do. So maybe you have a 1-page or a 2-page flyer, or maybe you have a agent bio of the 3 top agents that are working on your team. Or maybe you have more agents than that and you want to just show them all. You can easily start creating some of those custom pages. So as we're going in, we're tracking that building inventory, we're walking the buildings, we're adding that information. All that information that we're collecting is useful. It's able to be used to show what available spaces are. We can also go ahead and we can underwrite the property and we can show them, hey, on a simple pro forma, here's the healthier building. You have quite a few leases that are coming due in the next 6 to 18 months. And here's what the lease rate's going to be for your projected renewals. And we can show someone on a simple pro forma of what their actual is and what market's going to be in 6 months. And we can show declining rents or we can show improving rents. Maybe it's time to take some equity out, buy some more buildings. Maybe it's time to dispose of your asset and get out of it. But that's something you as a real estate professional is going to be able to help them with. Again, going in as a real estate professional on their leasing needs is not just showing them, hey, here's a space and I'm going to fill it for you, but also giving them the health of their buildings and giving them all the educational information that they may need. Now, not only can we go out and put our best foot forward and win this presentation, you also can take those property to market real quick. So this information can be emailed. So if you want to email a PDF before you head to the meeting, hey, Jeff, it's Matt. I'm going to meet you in about 45 minutes. I wanted to send you this quick proposal so you can review it before I go. You can also go ahead and you can create a digital, because Jeff is scared to download things because he doesn't want to get a virus. And now we can go and create that in a digital format. If you have any custom branding, your custom branding will flow into this as well. And now we can show the client live, or we can fast forward. I go to Jeff's office, Jeff and I talk, and he says, Matt, I think it's really great what you do. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more, but what are some of the ways that you're going to help lease the space? You can show Jeff live on your RealNex mobile app all the companies that you have relationships with, all the contacts that you're talking to, and their possible tenant requirements, all in one system. This way, again, it allows you to keep track of tenant relationships and match tenants to spaces that are available. This way you can bring those tenants. Maybe you want to bring up a list of all the tenant rep brokers that you work in the market. You can easily do that with a simple filter of pulling up all the tenant rep brokers that work in industrial or office or retail or other, all right in your RealNex program. Now, if Jeff comes back and says, you know, Matt, I think this is great. I want to list one of my spaces and I have Suite A available. Since I've done some of the work ahead of time, I have the information there. I also pulled my trusty iPhone out and I updated some photos in the field. So I took a picture of the warehouse when I was there. I updated some additional information, all from my mobile device. Android people, you're welcome to come. So this isn't just iPhone and iPad users, Android people as well. Now I can take some more photos. As I'm taking the photos in the field, not only are those photos that I'm updating for the available space, which, true case, person called me, hey Matt, I need to get my Marketplace Pro going today. I have a new lease. Awesome. When you're out there, take some pictures using the RealNex CRM app, and that information will then apply to your listing. Oh my Lord, that's great. Because she was overwhelmed with taking the pictures and downloading and then uploading them and doing all that, we streamline that process for you. So now what we can do is we can say lease go to, and it's going to say, would you like to open the listing? Would you like to update the listing if you've already had the listing in there previously? Maybe you leased it 3 years ago and you're releasing it again. Now we can open the listing. Now from here, it's going to ask us for some additional information. We can make an available property. Maybe we have a min and max rate. But you know, I really don't want to show the min max rate, so I'm going to say it's negotiable. We're going to pick that it's going to be a triple net lease. Again, we can put in here a max rate or a min rate, but we don't actually have to show because we're just going to go and say it's negotiable. Our photos came directly from the RealNex system. So directly from your mobile app, it's there. So now I'm going to make this as an available space. I save that. I have my photo. Now I can save this. Now I might say, I got to go here and put property type. So I didn't put property type in here. I'm going to say it's industrial. I can also have subcategories if I want, that it's flex space and it's manufacturing. You can do up to 3. And now I have the ability to save that.
Things that we can do for leasing new projects. Looks like a lot of people were on the retail side. So I picked up a new retail project, a rendering and a model that we created in a mixed use development. And this was one where the developer needed planning and approval, capital raise, and they wanted to recruit Sprouts as an anchor tenant. And we can do this in a 3D model or in a video. So this is the actual model, but you can create a self-guided tour. So you just press a button and someone would be guided through the tour, or they can navigate by the keypad and move themselves across the community. So you've got the ability to put motion in, stop at different places, get different points of view. Wherever you wanted to, you can take a picture and you have a great rendering. We can make those much more intensive as far as photorealism with color shading and lighting. But for the model itself, this is a great resolution and quality. If you wanted to be able to go into the spaces, you could. If you wanted to jump from one spot to another, maybe we just want to jump to the Plaza 1, we can do that. We go into the Plaza 2, and if we wanted to see what the multifamily looked like, get a complete site overview. So this is the entire project. The other thing that we were able to do is if you had an office space and you wanted to reimagine it in different alternative views, and you wanted to think about, got a plain vanilla box, great, I want to show it that way, but I also want to show it as a medical office and maybe as a high-tech space. So I'll create one view and we can render it that way. And so you can take a tour, send people a link, and they can come in and view the space, come into a floor plan, see it wide open, drop in to walk around. And if they can conceptualize that and understand what they can do with it, they're great. A lot of people aren't great visualizers, so we help to visualize it in different ways. Take that same box and basically recanvas it with a new skin. And this is now version 2 of that same space, and we can jump into that floor plan. and now it's built out. We can take that same walk through, and now we're coming into a medical clinic. And you can come in, you have video playing in the background, you have music or sound, or let's tell a story. You can put any type of text and talk about the space with any bulleted panels. If you wanted to jump from place to place, you can. Take a tour of that. Check out what an exam room might be like. And so this really helps the doctors envision what they could do with that space very quickly and efficiently. Doctors didn't want it, but you thought that there's a tech firm that's coming to town that you wanted to showcase, put their brand on it, show it as theirs, make it look like the tech go, and give it that look and feel, that space design and plan. Totally different. So without having to build anything but a virtual model, you've got a complete visualization of space. And we didn't have much to work with here. We had a PDF of some concepts. Our designers came up with the look, the feel, the architectural, the graphics, the imagery, the brickwork, and we're just able to talk to the developer and get their ideas, and then go to town and very efficiently come up with a beautiful space that's able to show it in a unique and different way and lease the space very quickly. So in a challenging market like today's, new visualization, new marketing techniques, new strategies to showcase space is critical. So I'd encourage you to talk to your developer owners and think about what they want to do to reimagine space, take it to the future, and help to show it to prospective clients in as effective mode as possible. And sometimes flat or empty buildings don't show well. Sometimes renderings don't do the job, but 3D and video does. And here's our latest iteration. So now basically we're taking that same technology and bringing it into a complete website and a complete immersive experience. So we've got the video, we've got an overview of the property, we've got location details, site plan, video tour, and a virtual tour, renderings, and interactive contact information. So this gives you a sense of what the community is going to be like. Again, didn't have much to work with, but we knew the town, we knew some of the concepts that they wanted to put in, so we're able to get models and build them within this space and create an environment that's going to have the look and feel of the development. Basically embed the type of work that Matt was talking about, the flyer or insert presentation, and show tell the story of the property. Give location information. Where you can drill down. And
I'm back, by the way, Jeff. I don't know what happened, but the power.
All right, we'll get to this. So this is just this section, but this is a whole master plan in this community. So in addition to this first section, we'll be doing the rest of it soon. But as we pre-sell and pre-lease this, we'll just take next project and next component of the development. Then we can jump into video tour, the main street, the water fountain, the grocery, and to show what the
Welcome to the state-of-the-art.
I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a voiceover narrative now in the background.
Embodiment of modern convenience and sustainability. As you step through the automatic sliding doors, you'll immediately notice the innovative design.
So little snippets of video, virtual tour, so you're able to navigate on your own, take a look around, and you've got a very compelling way to market. And this can then be set up as a website. It can be an email link. It can be part of a presentation. You can put a kiosk up. You can do whatever you'd like to take advantage of this type of marketing presentation. And of course, if you need renderings, they are, again, just a higher resolution, same imagery, but we just intensify the lighting and the look and the feel of the space to give you renderings to, again, use on the full website or marketing collateral and other tools that you might want to put together for this project. Matt, I will flip it back over to you. Again, this works for office, industrial, retail. I've got examples of all use types. It also works for pre-sales and multifamily and residential, single-family condos and residential single-family development projects. And when the market was booming, this was developing, and the technology just kept getting better and better. Now that things aren't selling off the shelf as quickly as they were, the ability to have access to these tools to showcase your projects is becoming more and more valuable. So if you are interested in learning more, give us a call.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, Jeff, a couple of neat things that we can do, not only with that and what you'll see here in this, and I'm getting emails talking about how to syndicate. That's going to be inside a marketplace under the syndication channel, and you can set that up just by hitting syndication and you'll sign up. But you can also do virtual staging. Same client that needed to go out and take pictures has some empty space there. So she's going to send me over the photos, and we're going to talk about virtually staging that retail building. So when I was talking about the space, you can show the space negotiable or the lease rates. You can go ahead and make it active, so it shows it up on our listing site. You can mark it featured. Featured will put it right to the top. You can buy slots. They're very inexpensive to put it as featured. You can share it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere else you want to, and you can email it out. You can also turn any one of these properties for lease into an email campaign. Again, real simple to do that email campaign. All we're going to do is click this email button. And now all the folks that we were getting the information from on their leasing needs and so forth, we can create a beautiful email campaign in, what did that take? Seconds. Suite A is the one we're talking about. It's triple net, it's 24 months. We can change the term, we can change the, I forget what Jeff calls these, but the cells and so forth, I think that's what it is. And then I can add some more property description in here, which I didn't do in the listing side as the power outage or whatnot was going on. Yesterday, we had a massive thunderstorm here in San Diego, and I don't know what is going on, but they're doing something to the building. Now I can go ahead and send this email out, but you might not have a whole groomed market. You might not have all the tenant rep brokers in your system. You might not have all the companies and tenants with those relationships. If you don't sweat. You can use our CBSA state and national email campaign to attract national tenants to a space, CBSA to attract local tenants to a space, and it's $49 per email. So you can email it out to our list of tenants in the market. That way you can attract new business. You can also email it to your groups back in your RealNex program of different tenant reps and different tenants in the market and companies to email it. You can customize the email so it comes from you and replies to somebody else. So if you are an admin or marketing and you want to go back to directly to the broker, or you want to come in from the broker and going back to marketing or admin, you can do that. You can schedule it immediately, or you can schedule at a future date. So if you wanted to go out Monday morning at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m., you can easily do that. Not only are we able to market that property, but we're also able to give the building owner some peace of mind. They might want to know what's going on. I just had an email earlier talking about, hey, is there a web portal? Yeah, there is. So there's a web portal that your clients can access for the building owners. So in this case, I have Messenger Industrial Park that we talked about before. I'm working with FinTech on leasing. Right now, there's zero value, but I can put in the value of the lease. Maybe the value of the lease is $128,000 over the 24 months. Status is inquiry. I can put any comments on here, and I can drill down to each one of the buildings to add photo, building information, deal docs. Maybe I have an LOI. I can also report on different information that's important to my building owner. I can put in the rent per square foot, $825, $925, what the monthly rent is, rate, any things in there for like TIs. I can also keep track of the different proposals. Unfortunately, I ran out of time before this presentation to show you the attached proposals. But to attach a proposal, all you do is say new proposal. You have to put in the rate, and we'll just say it's $825. You have 2,400 square feet. It's a 24-month term. We have 3% escalations. There's zero free rent. We'll put you know, I'm just making numbers up, 225 a square foot, don't yell at me. And now I can save that. And what this does is it not only starts to give us a proposal detail, but it's also going to allow us to see the tenant responses we're negotiating with the tenant on the behalf of the landlord. The landlord can access this anytime they want, so they can view the information. It also will send over a report on their building to them once a week, so you can see how many inquiry, how many toured, how many proposed, how many leased, closed, dead, active, etc., that they'll receive once a week on an automatic reporting basis. And if you needed to, you have the ability to use our basic comparative analysis in here. So if you want to compare the proposals, you can do that and you'll see them side by side. You also can add some more details, and in those details, you can jump right into our lease analysis and our lease comparison. Now remember, a lot of this information will flow in between. There is not a direct integration in between this and the CRM. I built this up in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm not a computer wizard. I do type fast, but I type bad. It didn't take me long to create this and add a building owner into this. Very easy, very quick, very efficient, drag and drop photos and documents and floor plans all right in our program. It also allows you, as you have that same space as we talked about before, if I go back in here and I filter out Messenger Park, if you wanted to run that through our lease analysis side, remember, you're not having to start everything over again. All you need to do is simply select the space that you want to analyze, and you can analyze one space or you can analyze multiple spaces side by side. But once you have that one space, if you want to, you can now take that other space and you can say lease analysis, and we can call this one FinTech landlord. So owner rep, industrial, 2,400 square feet. Lease start date's going to be December 1st, 24 months. Discount rate's going to be 6%. And rolling, perfect. Lease defaults will get pulled out of the CRM. So we'll just use those. And now what it's doing is it's starting to build a more detailed lease analysis with the ability to show a page in the cover photo and other information in there. So again, it really just, depending on how much information you want to analyze, we have a tool for you within inside of our program. So if you're doing detailed lease analysis for the owner side, if you want to build a tour book for the tenant side to tie it in, that ties directly into our landlord. If you want to give a landlord portal, you can do so. If you want to pull up all the tenants in the market and then send them an email, you can do that from an asset-based side, so my available spaces. You can also do it from Real Campaign's letter side. So, hey, dear Chad, we just talked recently. I know your lease is expiring. Here are 3 spaces that I think that would fit your needs. Hey, Stephanie, Laura, whomever, it would go ahead and would add that information right in here as their first name. You can add their company. You can add as many merge fields as you want to right in your email, so it becomes very personable to each one of the tenants that you're dealing with, each one of the tenant companies you're dealing with. And remember, if you have one building for lease, one space for lease, and you send this out, you might send it to someone who says, hey, I have leasing needs just like this. Do you want to, interview to see if you can do my leasing needs as well? And it might bring in more opportunities. That saying is, it's easier to find a job when you have a job. It's easier to find listings when you have listings. This is a great way. Market to everybody that's out there and let them know you have an available space, and someone's going to go, hey, it's Phyllis. I just wanted to reach out and see if you can, manage my leasing needs. And it's fantastic how you can keep track of all that in one program. You also can tie things in like our automated timelines. So after you do sign a lease, if you want to follow up, if you were the one that signed the lease with the client, great. If you want to keep track of all your activities when you represent a space for lease, you can do that in our automated timeline that will remind you all those activities of what needs to be done, where and how, but you're all in one fluid system. We give you the tools with a support link if you need technical support. If you have an idea, we want to hear from you with a feature request. We have Guide Me up in the right-hand corner of every one of our programs with training videos, onboard information, and a library to walk you through navigating things like how to create a contact or add a company, how to create a flyer, how to create a tour book or a landlord management assignment, how to add users, how to assign people, how to list properties. All that's in there in the Guide Me. We continue to do these webinars for you as well. On any of the virtual reality, if you want virtual staging, if you want us to do something that's ground up, if you want us to show some of the stuff that Jeff showed earlier in the VR, and you're really not sure how costly it is, send us an email. You can give us floor plans, floor plates, you can give us pictures, you can give us address, you can even write it down on a napkin, draw a picture and email it to us and tell us that's what you want to virtualize, and we can give you an estimate what it would cost to virtualize. And timing is relatively fast depending on your project. Sometimes it's 24-hour turnaround, sometimes it's 24-day turnaround depending on how big your project is. But there's a lot of ways, and especially as we get into creative space, we're watching industrial turn into different condos. We're watching office turn into multifamily condos, like just really interesting things. So if you ever want to virtualize anything and see what it would be if you reatomize the space or open up the space, we can virtualize all that for you, including we have a test fit tool that we can help test fit and build it out. Jeff, how are we doing on time? I know that I kind of killed the party with that computer crash a couple times here in the power outage, but I think we're doing all right.
All is well. Time for questions. Anyone
so
have
everybody,
any?
yeah, so with everybody going through that, remember, it's about tracking new agencies, monitoring building performance, keeping track of the tenants and building those relationships. It's simply creating those flyers and campaigns. You saw how I can do that in seconds, not even minutes. It's a ways to render and use the video in VR. Get that listing exposure. We also have listing exposure that we can go ahead and we can display on your website. So we can show all your available spaces for lease using Marketplace Direct or Marketplace Premier. It's about transacting simpler, automatic reports to the owners, managing your pipeline and evaluating the numbers to negotiate the terms best for your client. And then ultimately getting that comparative analysis to find out what's going to be working and how it's going to affect their bottom line. Utilizing all those tools for the agent's toolkit, I think you're going to have the best of the both worlds. If you're not using RealNex, come talk to us. If you are using RealNex, thanks for putting shoes on our kids' feet. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions, any ideas for any new webinars, let us know. These are all about you. Jeff and I do these every week. We do them all the time. We love them. But the more we can make them about you, the better it is for us. Hope everybody had a great time.
About residential, Matt, and I think that the residential multifamily, no problem. For we do investment analysis and underwriting and packaging and presentation. You can use it to help to manage your leasing work in that space. We don't do the accounting part of it for management of residential, but for leasing. We also, for single family rental or others, we can help to underwrite and market that. So the pre-sale, pre-leasing for the virtual reality piece works for any type of residential. So you can showcase spaces, units that are available, new homes or new condo towers that are being built, and you want to pre-sell and or if it's a new apartment project, begin to pre-lease. Even student housing, we've done a lot of that works out well, where people are remote. They need to see what the potential of a property is, and if they're going to be comfortable there, what the environment is, what the amenities are. So lots of residential applications. It's just not single family brokerage that we are involved with. Matt was showing a new thing, the MP Premier, which is a listing plugin. So to get listings on your own website, in addition to having it in the RealNex marketplace, you can have it on your own in a very aesthetically pleasing and seamlessly plugged in environment that matches your brand. It brings SEO to you, and it showcases property in a very easy way for clients to come and absorb and engage with. So I think that's it, Matt. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone joining us today. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we will see you back here at the end of the month.
See you, everybody. Bye-bye.